Throughout history of humankind, there have been many great minds known for battles that shaped the world as we know it. Alexander the Great in the Battle of Gaugamela, Julius Caesar in the Battle of Alesia, Napoleon in the Battle of Austerlitz. But even though these people were the greats, they still ended up being dead, which begs the obvious question, were their tactics even that good? So today we will test and rate various historical tactics from 1 to 10 to find out which ones were actually great and which ones are overrated tactical slop that should never be used ever again. Starting from the first and the most exciting one, Blitzkrieg Spearhead. Famously spawned by a somewhat controversial individual, Hitler, during World War II. Now I know, but let's put our judgment out the door and focus on questions that actually matter. Was Hitler cooking? As you can see on this slide, the point of the strategy was to concentrate the main force at the head of the spearhead to penetrate the enemy lines and then do whatever you want once you're deep inside. Needless to say, it works perfectly in Microsoft Paint, but let's see it in practice against a bunch of Neanderthals. So let's just put our caveman into this formation and watch the potential magic happen. It's honestly surprising that our formation was still solid for about 2 whole seconds. I mean, this one is easy and we just masterfully penetrated their front lines and we got a victory. To be fair, I think it ended way too quickly, but at the same time, finishing early is not entirely new concept to me. So for now, I would say it's a solid 10 out of 10. Looks like Hitler was in fact cooking. On the second level, we are going against 2 units of spearmen, which could be problematic if we didn't know the next formation. The Ashelon formation, developed by a Greek guy named Epaminondas many years ago and frequently used by King Frederick II of Prussia. As you can see on this historically accurate representation, the point of this formation is to stagger your units diagonally, which should result in you confusing the enemy, and if they're stupid enough, then they will open themselves to be easily flanked by the remaining troops. But enough talking, let's try it in real life, shall we? All we have to do is to put our caveman in this diagonal formation and hope that it works. So far it's fine, people on right are catching all the spears with their faces, which is sad, but it's also highly calculated. Now that we're close, we can start pulverizing their kneecaps. People on left are also pushing. What the fuck, that just a fucking trick shot or something. Got some friendly fire going on. One more time, but it's not gonna save them at all. That was nasty, right in the balls. Can't say the same about this one. Straight up flying into 2001. I mean, now there's not much to do, just to finish the job. All in all, I would say this casting manipulation strategy. Personally, I would modify this strat by adding an element of edging, pretending that you're gonna charge, but then stopping halfway, going back, and then doing it again. But since Epaminondas didn't think of that, it's only 8 out of 10. This level requires a very careful approach, because we got boners and stoners against us, so let's try Crescent formation. In my opinion, this is one of the most confusing ones, because how do I know which one is a regular Crescent formation and which one is an inverted Crescent formation? Kinda stresses me out. Just because of that, instantly -4 points. I'm not really sure who made it, but I do know that Hannibal Barca is a big fan of it, and since he single-handedly terrorized Rome for a decade, it must be good. The point of the Crescent formation is to encircle the enemy forces by putting the weakest troops in the middle and stronger ones on the sides, and surprising to no one, in a crescent-looking formation. In our case, I put shields in the middle and cavemen on the sides. I guess it kinda looks like a crescent, but don't get it twisted. It could just as easily be an inverted crescent. Let's see if it actually works. If I'm being honest, this barely looks like a crescent. What a fucking bitch, huh? It's not looking good. Never mind, it actually looks good. I wish he was on my team. To be fair, maybe this strategy is way too difficult to pull off for sub 60 IQ units, but I believe the result is the only thing that matters, which might be a controversial mindset, but we won, so who cares? I'm thinking like a 6 out of 10. Sure, we won, but at the cost of millions of people dying in front of my eyes. Plus, I still don't know which one is a regular and which one is an inverted crescent formation, so 2 out of 10. Now these guys are serious. Very basic but nonetheless good formation. Unfortunately, I have no idea what it's called, but that's none of my business anyway. I think this situation is perfect for the skirmish lines, famously used by Napoleon and the French. And if I'm being honest, He got that shit on. The entire point of this move is to form your front line with the gaps of like 10-20 steps in between each man, send them forward and hope for the best. While it might look like a bad idea, historically speaking, being a part of a depressed group of people who would agree to be in the front line was much safer than being a part of a 200-man unit that could be one-shot with a cannon. But enough yapping, let's see if it's actually true. Looks like it's not. 0 out of 10, never again will I listen to the French. Another goated strategy is called Triplex Acies, probably one of the most trendy ones as well. Let's take a look at this historical slide. As you can see, this is a triple line formation with the least experienced troops going to the front, more experienced and armored in the middle line, and the most experienced and the most rich going to the back lines. In a way, this is a capitalism formation, but the main point of it is that it looks like a checkerboard, which offers a lot of flexibility, and most importantly, it just makes it look like you know what you're doing. Let's see if I know what I'm doing. It doesn't look very promising, let me tell you that. But if there is anything that life taught me, is that you should never give up. I'm gonna end it all. 0 out of 10. I guess it's time for Blitzkrieg yet again. Now we enter a new age and have to fight a bunch of peasant simpletons. There's not much maneuvering we can do because of this asshole, but to not speedrun the game with Blitzkrieg, I use the Pincer movement. And this has to be one of the most typed strats, used pretty much by everyone you love. Hannibal, Genghis, Shaka, Hitler, and possibly Obama, but I'm not 100% sure about this one, because this is such a basic strategy. People throughout history called it different names, but the point was always the same. Weak shaft with strong and massive balls. So I created a Blitzkrieg looking center with a couple of clubbers that will most likely die to this 511 guys. Meanwhile, the real juice of our army is these two chieftains. Instantly minions jump at my clubbers, which is a highly calculated move. And now that the farms are close, my dual-wielding maniacs can just lobotomize everything that moves. Beautiful victory, but I think we just accidentally created a new variation of Pincer movement without the said movement. All in all, I would say it's a 7 out of 10. It's a good one and it works, but it's kinda boring. On the next level, the real danger is these guys, but this also means that it's a good opportunity to test out Spanish Tercio. This formation was famously created by the Spanish general whose nickname was El Gran Capitan, which is most likely a reference to this massive thing on his face. The point of this formation is to form a square filled with pikes or swords and put musketeers on the outer corners, which allowed them to retreat in the square if crazy French cavalry would charge at them, and it also allowed for a continuous fire, where musketeers would take turns shooting at the French with practically zero downtime, as they should. Unfortunately, we do not have musketeers, but fortunately we do have spears, which are practically the same thing if you think about it. Instantly my clubbers catch poison with their faces, which is quite a heroic act, but it's not ideal. Unfortunately, it looks like homeless people just don't care about my spear throwers, so we have to rely on clubbers for now. But I think it's looking good overall. Now all that's left to do is just to kill this poisoner, so it shouldn't be a problem. This one's gonna be nasty, it's going straight into the frontal lobe. Interesting. Fuck it, never mind I guess. I don't wanna jinx it, but hopefully this one will hit. What the fuck? Another one. Okay, now that's not one funny anymore, what the fuck is happening? Thanks. That's just an embarrassing performance, guys. I mean, they don't even care, like, look at this. What is that? This is -2 points to Spanish Tercio for sure. It's gonna be so embarrassing if we're gonna lose this one. It's gonna remind me of my childhood and my stuff. Okay, good. Honestly, I'm not really feeling the Spanish spirit with this one. Sure, we won, but it was fucking horrible. The events of 1643 start to make sense now. 3 out of 10. Spanish, do better. I see what they're doing here. Crescent formation. Then how about this one? I guess we can increase the rating of it to 6 out of 10. On the next level, I decided to give Triplex Acies one more chance to redeem itself from the previous devastating failure. I put homeless in the front lines, slightly less homeless in the middle, and the most rich units in the back. And of course, it's a checkerboard. In less than a second, this checkerboard turns into complete bullshit, but despite everything, things are actually looking promising. On the left, everything is going great. The right side is having some noticeable issues. He's probably gonna die. Kinda sad, but kinda natural selection, so it's fine. Hopefully they'll figure it out. People on the left are pushing, which is nice. At least somebody is useful in here. They keep throwing Receivalis in the bottle, but little do they know that we're immune. Looks like an MVP of the fight. Nice. Homelessness won. Yet again. With that being said, we can increase the rating of Triplex Acies to 7 out of 10. It's actually kinda good. This level is just ideal for Blitzkrieg, so I'm not even gonna do anything else. Always works. Hitler was onto something. On this level there are a lot of archers, which means we can try Testudo formation, developed by Rome's greatest minds. It was often used by Julius Caesar before he became a salad. The point of this formation is rather simple. Shields. Unfortunately, in our case, we do not have shields, but we do have something even better. A bunch of homeless. Instantly we're off to a great start. Actually, never mind, we just lost one homeless. But it's fine, they can't take all of us down. Despite one tragic loss on our side, they do not give up and rush into the battle like a bunch of feral ghouls with sticks, and nothing can stop them. And after killing their archers, we also apparently kill their morale and will to live. Let's do Wind of Silence for people who lost their Obi-Wan, never mind. Beautiful and absolutely brain-dead victory. Surprisingly, this formation is better than I thought, but I think it's very situational, so it's a solid 6 out of 10. Following the comeback of Triplex Acies, I decided to give Skirmish lines another chance, and it turned out to be a massive success for the simpletons. Even though I dismembered half of my army, I gotta give the French a benefit of the doubt, and I would say it's a 3 out of 10. On the next level we have Norwood 7 Wizards, and at this point they already lost their hair. Just killing it today, bro. I'm proud to say that for this one I developed my own formation that I'll copyright as double inverted Crescent kill zone. DIG for short. It's just like the original one but double the size. Instantly my prehistoric Honda Civics lock in on a king and push into the fight. Rest in peace to one of them. And now the rest of my army is here. We can start doing something. I think this actually looks very bad because he's just gonna one-shot all of them. No, he just decides to kill this guy. I guess there's some beef we don't know about. Meanwhile, everyone else is up to some bullshit. My wheelbarrow is just single-handedly winning the game. Okay, that's actually kinda crazy. What I'm seeing, what I'm witnessing right now is the second coming of Jesus or something. And he's doing it again. He's doing it again. This guy can get me pregnant anytime. What is he gonna do next? That's actually crazy. Absolute cinema, 10 out of 10. The next two levels are very straightforward, so we can just skip this ones. On this one I combined Skirmish lines and Triplex Acies, which resulted in an obvious outcome of my genius. But our winning streak was unexpectedly threatened when these two evil Minotaurs started to violently assault my knight in the middle of the battlefield, and I could not bear to witness such sausage party happening right in front of my eyes. So I had to whip out the Joker card out of my sleeve and use Triplex Acies yet again, but this time with archers in the backlines. I'm not really sure what played a bigger role in this battle, my mastermind strategy or the apparent stroke that these Minotaurs had in the middle of the fight. But either way, we're here for the result and it couldn't be any better. By this point it's only fair to increase the rating of Triplex Acies to 8 out of 10. To my surprise, Vikings decided to retaliate and use Triplex Acies against us. I can understand everything, but how the fuck did they figure this one out, I have no idea. But not like it matters anyway, because now we're in a new age and can finally apply Hoplite phalanx. This formation was developed by the Greeks, used by the Greeks, and I'm pretty sure runs in the literal DNA of the Greek people, because they were spamming this strat everywhere no matter the situation. Battle of Thermopylae, phalanx. Argument between the land, phalanx. European taxes to fund Israel, failing. With that being said, let's try to practice against a bunch of clueless individuals to see if it was actually that great. I wanted to say that it looks promising, but the more I look at this bullshit, the more I understand that it's not promising at all. All of my people got frozen like my hopes and dreams of winning this battle. Actually, never mind, I think we're making a comeback. I don't know what sort of motivation. He just died, I mean. Bro just casually decided to resurrect in the middle of the fight and use his friend as a mid shield. Actual cinema. I can tell you for sure that hostage situation was not a part of the strategy, but in a way I can't really complain about it. I mean, it went even better than I'd expected. 10 out of 10 hostages, need I say more. It has come as a big surprise that on the next level, Blitzkrieg resulted in a massive tragedy. Kinda disappointed in Hitler after all, but the Vikings didn't know that we have yet another strategy that we didn't use before, Infantry Square. I'm not really sure who came up with this one, not like I care either way, but I do know that it was famously used by the Duke of Wellington in the Battle of Waterloo. Let's refer to this historical slide, shall we? The point of the formation that's called Infantry Square was... I mean, I don't even think I need to explain what was the point of it anyway. You're a big boy, you get it. So let's just see it in practice. In our case, we still do not have musketeers, but snake archers will do just fine, especially with some appropriate sound effects. Pew, 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 pew. Let's go. Pew, 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 pew. Bang, bang. No. Wow, just felt like the real deal, huh? Overall, it's not a bad strat. Plus, it does not require any thinking from your units as well, which is I would say the 6 out of 10. The next level, without an exaggeration, uses a never seen before penis-inspired formation. Must be Viking development. To match their freak, I decided to use a massive regular Crescent formation. Ideally, they were supposed to go inside so that I would be able to flank them, but it is what it is. Even though my army died, these ballistas and archers did not give up and managed to carry this fight on their pure and honest, enthusiastic racism against the Vikings. But still 5 out of 10 for the Crescent formation. I know I have a very important role to stay objective and not biased, but it's kinda ass. And for the final level, we go against the final boss of the formations, the Blitzkrieg formation. These Vikings just keep impressing me with their unpredictable intelligence. I don't even know how they know all of that. Even though we're going against possibly the strongest formation, we still have one more thing to try. Oblique order, which is pretty much the Ashelon formation, but with you focusing the strength on one flank. Let's see it in practice. Turns out they're actually stupid. I mean, at this point there's not much I can say. Did you know that Vikings actually never wore helmets with horns? Honestly, that was easier than I thought. Maybe in the end Hitler was not cooking after all. Blitzkrieg 9 out of 10. Oblique order, I would say it's an 8 out of 10. With that being said, if there's anything that we could learn from this video, is that it's very important to